Today we're going to show you how to make an exotic vegetable soup.
And you wouldn't even be able to tell that it doesn't have any butter, milk, or sour cream added, and it's still really creamy.
So don't go away. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. My name is Audrey, and these are my two sisters, Trishonna and Emberly. We're the Benton Sisters. Welcome to Food for Thought.
I want to share with you another Bible verse that has to do with health today. It's found in Psalms 34, verse 8, which says, "Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who trusts in him." And we are going to taste and see that the Lord is good today when we discover how we can create our old foods without those heart attack ingredients. So I hope you enjoy what we have planned. And here we have a wonderful soup and maybe candied apples. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
So let's get started.
Okay, let's go ahead and read off the recipe. For your exotic cream vegetable soup, you'll need 6 medium potatoes, 1 onion, 10 cups of water, 2 cups of cashews, or 1 cup of cashews and 1 cup of millet, 3 tablespoons of McKay's chicken seasoning, and 3 teaspoons of salt or to taste, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1 can of garbanzo beans, 2 6-ounce bags of your favorite vegetable mix, or from right out of the garden, and 4 packages of top rama. And that's Oriental noodles.
Okay.
And that can be optional, whatever you prefer. And so let's go ahead and blend up our cream for our soup. And we already had the potatoes already cooked here on the stove. And we're going to go ahead and add our 1 cup of cashews. When you use cashews at home, make sure you wash them really good.
These are raw cashews and no salt, right?
And I'm going to use cashew butter just to, for the sake of blending time. When you use cashews, you want to blend for a long time, for about a minute. That won't come out there.
And this is a half cup of cashews, right?
Now, for a cup of cashews, you want a half of a cup of butter.
Okay.
Cashew butter.
And that way it doesn't have to, you don't have to blend it as long, right?
When you blend
it's already creamed.
When you blend it with
Excellent
cashews,
idea.
you want to blend it for a minute, okay?
Okay.
And then we'll add a McKay's chicken seasoning that's non-dairy. Make sure it's non-dairy because some McKay's chicken seasonings have whey in it. And
you know, cashews also have high levels of calcium, iron, and magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, and zinc, as well as B-complex vitamins. So cashews are really good. And people think that they are fattening, but actually it's only, 45% unsaturated fat, and it's the natural fat that your body uses to make your hair shine and your skin soft. It's the essential fatty acids that we want in our diet that's usual to your body. So cashews are going to be much better for us than putting that butter in our soup and still have the same effect.
Okay.
And it calls for half of the cashews that it calls for, you can substitute with a cup of millet. And you're probably wondering, what is millet? Millet you can cook up just like brown rice. What's the portions?
In fact, millet, it takes like 1 cup of millet grain, and now this is the kind without the hulls on. Don't get the bird seed. It is bird seed, but you want to get the millet without the hulls on. Cook it with about 4 cups of water.
And this is what it looks like right here before it's cooked.
It looks just like bird seed, and it's very nutritious. It's high in a lot of different nutrients. It's easily digested by growing children and senior citizens. Non-mucus forming, has a delicious nutty flavor. It's high in iron and amino acids, and it's just really nutritious grain.
Okay.
And so you want to cook with 4 cups of water, 1 cup of millet to 4 cups of water.
Okay, it cooks for like a half an hour?
Half an hour, and then it yields 4 cups of cooked millet. And when you make it, you might want to freeze it in 1 cup quantities. That way when you want to make soup or even a milk, we have a milk recipe that you can make it from millet. All you need is a cup of millet in these recipes, and there you have your fresh millet out of the freezer. That way you don't have to cook it every time, and you don't have to worry about it sitting in a refrigerator and possibly going bad on you.
Okay.
Okay.
And have this for cereal, right?
Millet is
Yeah,
so good.
it's
You
really
can even have
good.
it for cereal. In fact, after the First World War, millions of Russians were faced starvation, and they were forced to eat the millet they had set aside for their chickens. And much to their surprise, on this diet most exclusively of millet, they were not only saved from starvation, but also enjoyed better health than they had in their former diet.
That's amazing.
So we don't often get millet in our diet, in the typical American diet, like we should, and so we're trying to get it in through these other ways, and we've discovered it works so well, and it's a very neutral grain that goes very well with everything, and is a really great substitute for dairy products.
And it makes it that really good, creamy, delicious flavor, and cashews make it that delicious, creamy flavor too.
So it's an excellent base for your soups. Wonderful base for your creamy soups in place of the milk, butter, and sour cream and cream cheese and stuff.
But also, if you don't have millet on hand, you can use cashews to replace the millet. So let's go ahead and add a teaspoon of garlic powder and 2 teaspoons of onion powder. That's probably 2 teaspoons. And then our salt. I want to make sure you measure the salt. I make sure I measure the salt. I don't want to just dump that one in. Okay. Okay, the salt's to taste. It depends upon how much water and vegetables you have in your kettle. Okay, let's go ahead and blend that until it's smooth.
We need some water.
And I'm going to just use our delicious potato broth to blend it. And that's what you can do. And so that's probably enough, just enough to cover it. And then you blend it until it's smooth.
Okay.
Okay, and then you just add your onion. We want a whole minced onion. You can add half of the onion or a whole onion, whatever you like. And just turn it off and on a couple of times to mince it.
If you don't like onion, you can leave it out.
So this onion, we only want it minced. Do you think it got minced good enough?
Hope so.
Okay, and then we'll just go ahead and add it to our kettle over here. It's splashing. You're not supposed to do that.
That's all those onions.
Okay, you mix it in. Now we're going to put it over here so you can see it better. And then you add your favorite vegetables, like we have, what's this?
Bell pepper.
Bell pepper, thank you.
Red and green bell pepper.
And yellow.
And yellow.
It gets a lot of nice, beautiful color. And you know, if you have a garden, just use your garden vegetables. But
Whatever
these
you
are
have on
frozen
hand.
vegetables, which are second best. And then I like to add, just get some really exotic vegetables, like these are baby pearl onions. I think they're so cool. Look at that. They're yummy. So just throw some in till it looks good, whatever you like. If you like a soup with lots of vegetables, put lots of vegetables, or if you don't like it as many, it's very versatile.
And those are string beans.
This is a mixture of onions and
Carrots.
and
Broccoli.
Yeah, broccoli. And here's another mixture of vegetables. Those are good. Oh, these have,
Rice.
what is it, baby corn? I think the baby corn is so neat. Oops. The baby corn is really yummy in here.
Wow, that is already looking very colorful.
So doesn't that look good? Mm-hmm. And it's so delicious. Oh, I forgot to turn on this burner over here. Okay. And then then you just, when this gets nice and hot, you can add your noodles to it, or you can leave the noodles out. I like to break up my noodles before I add them. Kind of noisy. Just sprinkle in your noodles. I won't add too many because this is not getting quite hot yet. And then that's it. Wasn't that easy?
Definitely.
I would say
And
it's
it's
a fast,
so
easy
good.
recipe for like a lunch or dinner.
I think it would be good to have a sandwich with this. How about,
Soup
what do you
and
think?
sandwich, you bet. That is an excellent idea.
So let's go ahead and read it off for you. Okay, this is called Lavish Bread Roll-up. And you need 1/3 of a cup of ranch dressing or 1/3 of a cup of tartar sauce. And both of these recipes you can make out of our cookbook. Also, you need 1/2 of a cup of tomatoes, fresh or sun-dried tomatoes, vinegar-free, and 1/2 a cup of olive sliced, 1/2 of a cup of avocados, 4 slices of chicken fried tofu. That will show you how to make also. And cucumbers, or you can use pickles, vinegar-free, and sliced onions with cheddar cheese, and 1/2 of a cup of artichokes, 1/2 a cup of sprouts, and 1 large lavish bread or flour tortilla.
Okay.
Now you're probably wondering what in the world is lavish bread, huh?
Really?
Yeah. Well, this is a different bread. If you have a Trader Joe's, you can find this at a Trader Joe's. And
It's kind of like tortilla except for it's square.
it's really neat bread and good ingredients too. Or you can use a tortilla, a flour tortilla. But we're going to go ahead and make the ranch dressing for this. And there's a blender. And we need a tub of tofu. And we're just going to make a little batch for you right now. This recipe is so easy. And let me show you what the tofu looks like. And this tofu, you can find it in most grocery stores in the produce department.
And so you're making the ranch dressing?
Yes.
And so this is going to be a dairy-free ranch dressing. You know, a lot of people say, well, why give up the dairy? It's so good for us. Well, here's just some reasons why you want to give up dairy products. First of all, it's related to ovarian cancer. Is linked to the milk product because of the sugar from the milk. And also, cataracts are linked to the milk because of the sugar. And lactose intolerant and food allergies come from the milk. And also, dairy products have been linked to childhood diabetes, and which has been amazing. If you don't want to have your child to have childhood diabetes, then it's better to find a dairy substitute. And it's wonderful in the world we're living in now. You're finding more dairy substitutes than you ever could before, and so it's possible to still live a normal life and have all your favorite foods without having to suffer from the typical American diseases.
And then we added all our seasonings to the blender, and our dill, salt, onion, garlic powder, and basil. And you need 1/3 of a cup, no, 1/4 of a cup of lemon juice. That's
Okay.
probably 1/4. And also a little bit of water. You want to get us a little bit of water over there? How about, go ahead and
Here, I
use-
have a pitcher
oh, you
right
have
here.
a pitcher of water? Okay. Just enough water to blend,
That's very good.
and then blend it up.
Okay.
That's one thing I love about the Morinu tofu. It's a silken tofu, and so which has a mild flavor than other tofu, so it doesn't have a tofu flavor in your dressing. And it also is, because it's silken, it creams very nicely and makes a really nice silky cream base for your dressings and stuff like that. And it doesn't separate out or curdle like other tofus sometimes do. And Morinu tofu is a really excellent brand.
Tofu is really blah, except for, most people think it's blah and, ooh, it's going to be gross, But it has lots to do with how you season it if it's going to taste good. It's just an excellent base. So let's read off the next recipe. This recipe is called chicken fried tofu. You need 2 tubs of tofu firm, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 cup of nutritional food yeast, 1/2 cup of wheat germ, and 2 tablespoons of McKay's chicken seasoning. And another recipe we have is cheddar cheese, 3/4 cup of cashews raw, 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds, which gives it a cheesy flavor, 2-ounce jar of pimentos, which gives it that color, and 3 tablespoons of Bragg's, 1 teaspoon of yeast flakes, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 of a teaspoon of dill, optional, and 4 tablespoons of Ames kosher gelatin. 1/4 of a cup of lemon juice gives it that yummy, cheesy flavor, and also you want a cup of boiling water.
And how you make this recipe is you put all those ingredients in the blender, and then you boil your water, including the Amy's kosher gel, which is to replace milk gelatin, which makes the cheese firm up. Then you pour the boiling water over your ingredients and whiz it until it's satiny smooth, and then pour it in a pan and let it set up until it's firm. Then you can slice it and wrap it in cellophane or put in Ziploc baggies and put it in your freezer. And freezing it will also make it so you can grate it much better, and it's really delicious.
Okay, so we have our cheese right here that we made ahead of time, and we're just going to grate it for you real quick. And this cheese is frozen, it's set up firm, and it sets up, we wrap it up in little baggies, and see, it sets up pretty nice, you know, just like, almost looks just like cheese, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. And now this is supposed to be frozen cheese because it grates a lot nicer that way. This is a little bit melted.
Thawed out a little.
Yeah, a little bit thawed.
Okay, here we go.
And we're going to just go ahead and sprinkle that in this recipe also. Here, you want to get rid of that?
So now you're going to do the tofu, right?
Okay, back to the tofu now. We have our food yeast here, and nutritional yeast, and McKay's chicken seasoning, and salt, and all the ingredients that were just on the card we just read off. And we're just going to dip the tofu in it, and then you bake it in the oven on a cookie sheet for about 20 to 25 minutes until it's nice and dry and chewy. And then it's so good once you have your tofu.
And this is what it looks like. It comes in a box. It's called tub tofu, and water packed. You can buy it extra firm, or soft. And usually this is in the produce department of your grocery store. And freezing it changes the texture and it makes it really chewy. But here you haven't used it frozen, and it's working really well just baking it just like that, right?
And make sure you spray your cookie sheet so your tofu won't stick. And then bake it for 350 for about 25 minutes.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and lay our ranch dressing down. You want to go ahead and put the ranch dressing down? And then just scoop it down the center.
How's this? Like this?
Yeah, all the way to the end. And then we can take our tofu and just lay our tofu in it, and we'll just pretend this is cooked already. And this tofu is so good. And then we're going to go ahead and get our pickles out, and we're going to slice them and put it down. And then our tomatoes, that's probably enough tofu. Just make it absolutely delicious and whatever kind of vegetables you like.
Now these pickles here have no vinegar. So they're just done in, cured in lemon juice, so they're not too bad for you.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
really good. And we don't want to have pickles with vinegar in them because vinegar breaks down your immune system. It also destroys your B vitamins and vitamin C. And so pickles made from lemon juice is much better for you.
And where did you find that at?
Emily, where did you get this? At health food store?
You know what? I was actually surprised. I got it at the regular grocery store the other day. And so grocery stores, you know, they're willing to, you know, accommodate whatever. You know, you just tell them that, oh, well, can you get this or such and such? Can you get tofu because they're not carrying it? Or
Let me put the lid on so we can get a close look at this.
Okay.
So the camera can get a
And
shot
so
of
just
it.
ask them to get it for you and see if they can carry it. And our grocery store just was carrying it, and so I thought that was so neat, so I just grabbed it. And these pickles are so delicious.
Okay.
I'm going to grab this avocado.
You can't really tell a difference either, can you?
Oh, it's
These
so
and the
good.
others? I guess I have enough pickles on here. I like pickles.
And then we'll
guess
just
so.
sprinkle some olives over the top. And we'll
Go ahead. Olives are really good for you, and they have a lot of a good kind of fat that we need, once again, for keeping our hair shiny and our skin soft, those essential fatty acids.
And then we have here artichokes, and these artichokes, here's the can, I want to show that for them.
Oops.
No oil, no vinegar, just cured in salt?
I think
Yeah,
that's
salt
good.
water.
We don't want to get it too full,
So-
otherwise we might not be able to roll it up. So we want to roll it up. Okay, and we put a little bit of onion on it, and then a little bit of cheese. I'll slice a little bit of onion, and then I'll let you put the cheese on.
When do we put this on?
Oh yes, can't forget the sprouts. Sprouts are really good for you. They're really
Sprouts are high in a lot of nutrients, including
Okay,
the
that's
B
good.
vitamins.
And put some cheese on it. And then that's pretty full. Let's see if we can roll this up. And you can also do it in a tortilla if you want. And you just roll it up, and you cut it in half. I'll let you, cut it in half. And then I'm going to get a plate.
How do you make sure that doesn't roll?
Yeah.
This is definitely lavish. I can see how it got its name, Lavish Roll.
Look at that. Yeah, that looks good, doesn't it?
Definitely. Well, let's take a look at the comparison while you girls make up a plate of
Okay.
food of the protein and the animal fats versus the combination of protein and fat in the nuts. Here you see on the screen, we have in our diagram, protein is in the center and the fat is completely surrounding it. And that's like in the form of cheese. Protein and the fat in the cheese, for example, are very closely joined together. When the protein is completely surrounded by fat, no digestive juices or enzymes can break down the protein and the amino acids while it's in the stomach, because the digestive juices cannot access the protein because there's no digestive enzymes to break down the fat while it's in the stomach. And when it is released into the intestines, the fat globule interfaces with the bile dissolves the whole fat globule and then releases the protein into the bloodstream. At this time, the protein is undigested, and so then it acts as a poison and a toxin and a carcinogen, and the body looks at it as a foreign object and will actually fight against it, and so it causes a lot of complications with our health. But as you see for our next diagram here, this is the fat in the nuts, like coconut and cashews and almonds and different nuts like that. Fat is on the inside, and protein and the complex carbohydrates are on the outside. And amylase is a digestive enzyme in the mouth that starts breaking down your complex carbohydrates, and then the proteins begin being more digested in the stomach. And then when it gets into the intestines, the fat's taken care of and transported to make your skin soft and your hair shiny and digested just the way that is ideal for our body. This is totally designer food. And all the elements are found in the nuts, which are essential fatty acids that you need for good health. So you can see here that this is a much better source of protein and fat. And also you have calcium that comes in cashews, and almonds are high in calcium. And so this is much better for us. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, definitely.
Just take a look at that. All the wonderful nutrients for good health that you could ask for, nothing missing.
Lots of lovely color too.
And you even have all the foods from your 5 servings of vegetables. You got lots of variety in there. It's amazing how to avoid disease, your blood needs to be alkaline, free-flowing, and free from toxins. But when refined, unnatural fats are taken into your diet, you coat the membrane of the red blood cell with a thin layer of fat, reversing its negative charge, which keeps your body oxygenated. And a cell deprived of oxygen is a cell prone to malignant change. 1 or so more hours when oxygen deprivation is going on, the cells are suffering. And it takes anywhere from 6 to 12 hours to recover, and by then most people have eaten another high fatty meal. And I'd like to also share with you our quote here about the frequent use of nuts cuts cardio risks in half. Isn't that amazing? This was a study done by Gary Fraser, reported in an International Congress on Vegetarian Nutrition Journal at Loma Linda. And so we are learning more about our health and the food that we eat, and how important to have all the food that God has created for us. Like you said, live food for live people. That's what it's about. And God knew what he was doing when he created the food for us, prepackaged in their natural way. And when we come along and refine it and alter it and change it, we mess up with the quality of the food that we are then eating, and also the ability of our body to get the nutrients out of it that we need. And so eating your food in its most natural state is the most beneficial and the most important. And we don't have any problem with that, and can still eat all your favorite foods without those hard-to-attack ingredients. Isn't that nice?
That's for sure.
And so, anyways, we just want to encourage you to experiment in your kitchen. Start replacing your dairy products with the substitutes. Start making some of the non-dairy cheeses and also the dressings. You don't need to use mayonnaise. You can use a tofu-based mayonnaise instead and get rid of those eggs in your diet and have less cholesterol.
And it's not really hard cooking this way. It's just a different way of thinking. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, it definitely is. And the best thing about it is the more you take time for your health, the less time you'll have for disease. And we don't have time to be sitting around sick with disease, do we?
Amen.
Isn't that beautiful? Mm-hmm. Here we have our lavish rolls, and they're totally lavish, wouldn't you agree? And our exotic vegetable soup with a nice cream base, but without any of the dairy products. You know, when you really think about it, in our society, we're plagued with so much cancer, and it's so sad to see that the children who are dying with leukemia, wouldn't it make sense to start leaving off of the dairy products? Because when you know that cows have bovine leukemia and they have cancer cells in them, and so if we're eating the meat and drinking the milk and using cheese products that could possibly have this in it, then wouldn't we be increasing our risk for cancer as well?
Yeah.
It really seems like that would be possible to me. And so start thinking about switching over. If you have a hard time doing it and you don't know where to begin, just turn it over to the Lord. Ask Him to help you to love the foods He wants you to eat and to hate the foods He doesn't want you to eat. That's what our prayer was. And then ask Him to show you how to make it so it looks good and tastes good. And that is also what we asked. And He has. He has showed us how to make our old favorites without those hard-to-attack ingredients. And we are so thankful for His blessings in helping us in doing this.
Yes. Isn't the Lord wonderful?
He is totally wonderful. And you know, you can really see and taste and see that the Lord is good and that He loves us so much. He doesn't want us to be sick and miserable and dying from cancer. He wants us to be healthy. So may God richly bless you as you begin to create new healthy recipes in your kitchen that say the words, "I love you," to your family.